Oh man, oh, political issues. If I had hair, seriously, I'd pull it out. Excellent. Welcome back. The second episode of Loudmouth Presents Off the Top Rope. We have got a man here from the UK, stuck in lockdown, but still willing to speak to somebody. We have got the wrestler Burchill from the UK. Yeah. Chris, how are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you, Loudmouth. How are you?
Good, thank you. We're just talking a little bit just before this video started about your new venture. Let's start off with that quickly because it's something very interesting. I don't know if it's unique in terms of professional wrestling world, but it's certainly the first thing that I've heard of.
Yeah, so I've been watching a lot of Americans do online auctions, and they do like memorabilia and like 8x10s. Some of the guys do like TV personnel, but I'm obviously being a wrestler. You want to be into the wrestling, and I got into it maybe I don't know 6 months ago, and I've kind of researched and studied it for quite a while. And then the back end of last week, 2 weeks before, sorry, I just thought, you know what, F it, let's crack on and give it a go. So I started a company called Signature Moves, which is on Facebook, and we just deal in wrestling autographs and memorabilia. At the moment, our portfolio is about 42 promos, which are all signed, all authenticated. And I had another set coming today. Can I show you one?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Please, by all means.
Look at that. Look at this.
The Ugandan Giant.
Signed by Kamala. The legend is James Harris. That was incredible. Coming from work today to see that was amazing.
That is awesome. That is fantastic. Wow, man! And all of these are authentic. They're not coming through. Well, I know guys will try and pull a fast one, but man, that looks pretty authentic. That's pretty cool. Oh man, we've gone and frozen a bit.
So this is a signed picture, if you can see, Loudmouth.
Yeah.
From James Harris, aka Kamala. And I got that all the way from the States.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like a treasure hunt. You never know what's going to come out in auctions. So like last night, quickly, I managed to obtain a Dave Schultz 8x10 signed by the man himself, and Brother Love. So you never know what's going to be thrown out there. There was a Bam Bam Bigelow. There was an Owen Hart. But the Owen Hart was inscribed to a guy called Eric. I don't know anyone called Eric, and that's not my name. So I'm not going to bid on it. But they're the kind of high-end stuff that, the high-end, buyers want to do. So it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, awesome, man, awesome. You mentioned Bam Bam Bigelow there. Being as a bigger guy, Bam Bam Bigelow was one of the guys I looked at. Especially because of WrestleMania 11 with him and Lawrence Taylor. Man, apparently Lawrence Taylor turned around and said, man, that's the most athleticism he's ever experienced. He says it's worse than any American football match that he's ever had. So, Bam Bam always impressed me quite a bit.
Yeah, you're right. I think guys like him, Vader, Mabel from Men on the Mission, the big guys that could do the stuff that like you or I can do. Yeah. And Bam Bam kind of revolutionized the term big guy working. You see guys like Kane and The Undertaker, they work big guy style, but like Vader and Bam Bam, they were 300 plus pounds, and they were moonsaulting off the top rope. They were diving headbutts. They were doing stuff that the cruiserweights were doing, that are doing now. It was just, you don't get guys like that anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, I get you. You see, the thing is with big guys are starting to do the flips and things like that. And you know, you and I have had a discussion about flippy wrestling. You know, and you're getting these guys that are now 300 pounds, 350 pounds, you know, doing somersaults and suicide dives and things like that. It's a very contentious issue in the wrestling world at the moment. What's your take on a 350 pound man getting to the top rope and doing a corkscrew press on 56 little cruiserweights that are going to catch him?
Okay, so for me, the way that was brought up, there is a place for every different kind of wrestler on the card, and wrestlers should work to their strengths and for the card, not for themselves. Even though, you know, it's an ego-driven business, and we all want to be the top guy, and we all want to do this, that, and the other. But if there is a guy on the card, let's just put it out there. Let's just say, you know, Will Ospreay, right?
Yeah.
Him and Ricochet are probably by far the best high flyers we've seen in wrestling since guys like Owen Hart, Evan Bourne. I know obviously Matt Sydal is in AEW, but proper cruiserweights, proper flippy guys. If the big guys start doing that as well, it takes away the spectacle of the flippy guys. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
If you say if Will was on a card with himself, he does a moonsault. That's probably below him, but you know what I mean? And then you come out there and do one, the crowd have already seen it. Even though it's a spectacle, oh my God, he's just done a moonsault. That guy's 300 pounds. Wow. But then the following match, someone might do a moonsault and it's like, oh, well, we've seen that. And the guy doing the second moonsault might be like the higher guy on the card. So it's kind of work within your abilities, but don't kind of do everything that everyone else does. Like be yourself. I mean, I love watching guys like Jeff Cobb, you know, Bronson Reed, guys that are the big guys, but they can move like a cruiserweight. But they don't do, you know, all the stuff that an Ospreay and Ricochet can do. I don't know if you saw the spot between AJ Styles and Ricochet on Raw this week.
Yeah, I saw the spot. It was great.
Off the top into the Styles Clash. Jeez, where did they come up with it?
Yeah,
that's cool. That is awesome. But I think, you know, big guys notoriously should kind of work to their size and use that as an advantage. I don't know about you. What about you? You're a big guy. What's your call?
Well, you see, what I like to do is I want to do all of that stuff. I mean, I've done it in practice. I mean, I can, you know, when you hit the corner, you come out, you go into a head scissors and things like that. I can do that. Doesn't mean I have to do it in every single match. No, it doesn't. If, for example, you know, there's a big match. Say you and I are wrestling now at Wrestle Monster 5, and it's a big spectacle. We're allowed crowds back because it's an open space there. They give us an opportunity to give 8,000 people on the beach an opportunity to do that. It's a big crowd, semi-main event. It's for the All Africa Championship. Am I going to pull that move out? You're damn right I'm going to pull that move out. But if you go to a house show and it's 25 yobs that are sitting at at a gym that was $5 or $10 or $20 a ticket, am I going to do that move? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think it's crowd appropriate. I do think it's crowd appropriate.
It is. But on the flip side, if I want to be devil's advocate, because I do agree with what you're saying, but then say you go somewhere else in South Africa and, you know, there's 40, 50 people. And let's just say, you know, word of mouth is, oh, Loudmouth can do it, whatever. They worked, they paid for their ticket. They're going to want to see Loudmouth do that. Do you know what I mean? If it's a signature, if it's a finisher, they're going to want to see it. Now, you're right, it's crowd appropriate. Am I going to go out there in front of 20 people and kill myself? No, I'm not. It's just not, you know.
No, I understand fully.
How we do things. However, you know, if there's something that kind of defines your character, you know, it's kind of give the people what they want. You know what I mean? It's kind of like an old school guy coming over to England. We have Billy Gunn over. He has to do the famouser. He has to say, "I've got 2 words for you, suck it." If he doesn't do it, why are you here?
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Exactly.
You know,
Okay. No.
when,
Speaking of that specifically, uh, the UK scene with NXT UK and all the wrestling people. I don't know if people in South Africa understand the history of British wrestling. It is on par with anything WWE has or had or in the past of things like that. The only problem that it didn't have as wide an audience. If British wrestling had an audience like a WWE audience with international exposure and things like that, a lot of people will understand the British psychology of wrestling much better. And if you don't know about it, you really are missing out because there's some great British wrestling that has happened in the past. Now, is it still like that? Because I know with NXT UK, there's a lot of schools popping up, and not a lot of them are qualified to teach. I know the barracks is one of those places where you can really you cut your teeth and learn from somebody that's traveled on an international basis. But is the British scene at the moment, I don't want to use the word toxic, but is there a situation where a lot of schools are popping up and people are going, yeah, that's not the correct way to be taught?
yeah, let's break the question down. Okay, so the English style of wrestling isn't portrayed enough in England, and there are only a handful of old school guys that will continually do stuff. Guys like Dean Armark, James Mason. There's a Because there's so much stuff on TV now of flippy high spots. A lot of the basics and the old school tech have kind of gone by the wayside. I teach a lot of that old school tech because that's what I was taught.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's Johnny Saint. That's Blondie Barrett. That's Nagasaki, guys like that. Like icons in British wrestling. Mick McManus, Danny Boy Collins, guys like that inspired guys like me to want to be wrestlers. I didn't sit there and go, "Oh, I want to be like Ricochet." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I can't do that, but I can do the technical stuff. In regards to like different schools pop up every 5 minutes, and it's someone who, it depends on who the trainer is.
Mm-hmm.
And every trainer in England is so different, so different. It also depends on how much they charge. It also depends on what credibility they have in regards
Right.
to who are the guys that they're, most notable for England is a place called House of Pain. And they've had guys that are now in New Japan. They've got guys that are in WWE, NXT UK. So there's not many pure schools around like that now. The old school guys, the Future Shock, Fighting Spirit, Knuckle Locks, Lucha London, guys, proper old school dingy gyms that taught you how to wrestle. None of this, we're going to do, 4 flips and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's all about, for England, it's all about the credibility. And like you say, there are a lot of pop-up schools, 5 minutes to rear, 5 minutes gone. But then it's the same with promotions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's the same in South Africa, but there are, at one point, there was like 70, 80 different promotions in England.
Okay.
And 20 of them were creditable, and you get on there with the top guys. The rest would be just bang average. And then there'd be a lot that are just shit.
Yeah.
And that's just being honest with you, big man.
Well, let's just talk about the barracks for a minute there. Where did the barracks start? Where did your training start specifically?
Okay, so myself, I started at House of Pain with sticks. I was asked I was working there in the venue, and he said, "Look, you look like a wrestler. Would you like to try?" I was like, "Yeah, I've watched wrestling all my life, of course." Took to it like a duck to water. 13 years, 14 years later, I'm still here.
Yeah.
With the barracks, we started in 8 flat mats, maybe about 2.5 inch. So I'm talking about the mats that you sometimes have under the ring canvas, if you're lucky. And now we've got a fully working, like, not performance center, because I hate people use that word like it's, just, I hate it. It's just a real shit word for me. But we've got a wrestling, I call it a wrestling academy. Now we've got a full size ring. We have a weight training session area. We've got a promo area. We've got a small bar. We've got, a little kind of chill out room where we can watch the network and we can just hang and watch pay-per-views well, when we could.
Yeah, of course.
But we've kind of, worked to get. We've worked so, me and the rest of the guys there worked so hard to bring the barracks from where we were to where we are now. And it's just, I credit a lot of stuff to my guys. It's not just me that runs the barracks. It's even though it's me, it's my company. Without those guys, there'd be no barracks. And I appreciate every single one of them.
All right. Now, Burchill the wrestler, you've wrestled in Germany, in Italy, in Spain, a few other kind of 10 or 11 countries, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there.
Yeah, give or take. I think I'm on double figures. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, as a well-traveled, I was going to say a well-heeled wrestler, when they talk about traveling and things like that, what is the difference between, say, working in Malta than it is working in Italy or working in Germany, as opposed to working in France, for example? What's the main differences between working in some of the European countries?
The crowds really differ. In Italy, they were just pure smart marks. They just wanted spot after spot after spot after spot. Didn't really matter about the storytelling, even though myself and Blakey we're storytellers. We would kind of dictate how the match went if it didn't make sense psychology-wise. So the Italian fans just wanted just action. 2 big fellas, but against 2 big fellas, go at it like 4 balls in a tiny shop. The German crowd, very different. They pop for certain things. They don't understand the technical side of wrestling. So if I go out there, I'll get a pop for my entrance. My name will get announced. I'll get a pop for that. And then as soon as I start doing like some tech, it goes deadly quiet. If I pull off something, boom, they'll start clapping. It's like a Japanese crowd. Japanese crowds, they're far more vibrant now, as because they used to like Wrestle Kingdom and all that. But like the German crowd, they'll sit back. So like you've got to tell someone to shut the fuck up, and then that's going to get a reaction. If you don't do that, they're just going to sit there like this with their their beers, their steins, and they're just going to sit and enjoy it. Spanish crowds, they're just there for the spectacle. They're just, oh, wrestling, wow, cool, and they just get involved. They're really cool. The weird one I found was I wrestled in Switzerland, in Geneva, and we wrestled in this Irish bar, and it was downstairs. It was it was 7-hour drive there, 7-hour drive back. It was we wrestled, and we wrestled in this like an old, if you can imagine, an old underground club. Oh yeah. And the ring was like 14 by 14, and we were told to get there for 2 p.m. In the day. So we got there, no problems. So we was like, oh, when's the show? And he went, oh, it's 12 o'clock tonight. And we were like, so why aren't we here for 9 o'clock? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we traveled all through the night to get there. And I mean, luckily I got to wrestle one of my best mates, and we just had a laugh. But like the crowd just didn't give a shit. They were stoned. They were drunk. They just sat there watching on these little poxy tables with like, if you can imagine, like, the little small stools you get with like a little table, and they were just sat there, and they didn't know what was going on. They had no idea it was wrestling. It was just a really random experience. Man, I tell you what, I'll give you one for this one, right? Okay, yeah. I'll give you one more, right? In Wales, I wrestled my best mate, right? A guy called Tiny, Dan Standrin. And Dan is a good 350, right? He's a big dude. And the crowd were just sat, getting involved. And we just called the match. We didn't plan anything. We knew what the finish was. We knew it was going over. That was it.
Yeah.
So I was like, right. And I called it F5. So I pick up F5 and like the sheer sight of me picking that kind of guy up, boom, F5. And the crowd just looked and this one guy went, 70, 80 people just sat there, didn't give a shit. And I was like, my back is killing now.
Okay, what is a in your opinion now? What is a better reaction? A polite reaction to something that is done correctly, or a wild celebration for something that you guys got into the back and got, oh man, we just shit the bed. Would you rather have a genuine polite reaction or a wild reaction for something that just is like freaking a turd on cotton wool?
I don't know, to be honest, because I don't know about you, Mark, but I'm all for calling in the ring. I'm all about calling audibles and reading the crowds. That's a really hard question to answer. If I can put it in this term, so we were wrestling abroad, and it was an 8-man tag, and we were trying to call it on the fly, and it ended where everyone was doing like dives on the outside, right? And the referee was a wrestler himself, he was just refereeing, and I just called an audible, and I went, "Do a dive over the top rope, we'll catch you," because the crowd they were kind of like brewing, but there was nothing there.
Yeah.
So we're like, fuck it, it's an indie crowd. Let's just give them something cool. So the referee just hit the ropes and jumped over, and we all caught him. And the crowd, boom! And one of the Spanish guys was like, "Great call, man, great call." But it's learning to react to the crowd. A lot of wrestlers, I don't know about you, but a lot of wrestlers nowadays, they plan their matches from start to finish, like every punch, every kick. They don't like just relax. And then if it goes wrong, they're annoyed at themselves because the crowd haven't reacted. But because they're too busy thinking about what's coming next, they lose the moment and they lose the art of psychology. You probably, in your career, you've probably experienced that in front of hundreds of crowds.
Yeah.
Where people, you can see that they're thinking about the next spot instead of just being, in that moment.
Yeah, it's difficult because I've tried both ways. I planned a match meticulously with the wrestler, a very, very good wrestler, We planned the match because we knew what type of crowd we were going in front of. We planned the match, and for the most part, we stuck to it. There were one or two things. The thing that I like, and it's happened quite a few times, is where we'll the first match will go out there, and it'll be a 10-minute match, nothing tremendously bad with the match, well planned out, flowed nicely, and the crowd have sat in their hands, not because the wrestling was bad, it's just the guys were there to get the crowd used to the fact that there's professional wrestling now. So the crowd reacted but didn't really react. And the booker will come up to me and say, "Hey, loudmouth, man, the crowd is really, really sitting on their hands. Please do me a favor. We know you were going to be the second to last match or something like that. Just go out there and just cut a promo. Just take the microphone and just do something. Just get the crowd involved." And man, a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, not even, and the crowd is booing and just giving me all kinds of hell, and the rest of the show's gone great. And when it was my time to go out there, man, they just freaking let me have it. I've had McDonald's chants, I've had Nando's chants, I've had KFC, the whole bang shooty. They just, let me have it. So I'm very fortunate in my position because I've got the gift to get people to really, really hate me. And I don't know if it's my face or my voice or the gentleman that I interviewed last week, Terry Madu. He's got the exact same gift. And if you watched his video, I was there with one of the shows. I was busy commentating, and he just went. He just got into the ring. He went bonjour, and the crowd just freaking crapped all over him. I've got that ability. I've got that ability. So I'm really, really lucky. But not everybody's got that gift. It's a special gift to have, because your mind works like this. You can adapt on the fly, and it's the difference between having a good promo and having a great promo is the difference to when you're talking and one guy goes boo and you're like, oh, boo yourself, man, what the hell? It's its ability to get your mind thinking faster than the crowd's going to react. Because when the crowd reacts to something, your mind's already, all right, this scenario is this is where you're gonna go, this is where you're gonna go. And there's been times, I mean, I was at a show where I took a guy's beer. I walked in and everybody's not really reacting to me. They give me kind of a dull reaction. And I took this guy's beer and I just flipped it all over him. And man, they had to have security surround the ring, because about 15 guys of his friends just wanted to climb in and get into the ring. And it was great. But, there's a difference between white heat and red heat. I got a little bit of red heat that night. I still had to buy the guy a drink afterwards, but, that's par for the course if you're going to spill his brew.
I've been privileged. I've had a couple of times where I've got genuine white heat. One was I turned heel midway through a match, and this guy followed me all around the UK to watch, and he was heartbroken. And when I was leaving, he was throwing like rocks at my car. The second one, I was somewhere down south, and there was, when you I don't know what it's like in South Africa, but like in England, parents take their kids because the kids want to watch wrestling.
Yeah.
So for me, you've already got the kid, you've already kind of encapsulated the kid, but you've got to encapsulate the parent now.
Yes.
And we were, I don't know, I was kind of, maybe, I don't know if I was a number two to somebody, and this guy was just sat in the front row on his phone. So I just went over and I snatched his phone out of his hand. And he was like, what are you doing? I was like, mate, watch the show.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously in a different act, in a different tone of voice. And he was fuming. But then after the show, he was like, mate, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to be disrespectful. I was like, come on, let's just go and get a beer. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a problem. But yeah, I can relate to that, where you've got to be, 3 steps ahead of the game. Because if you don't do anything and you don't come back at anybody, you just left there to hang, really, aren't you?
That's it. And when you let it, in my experience, when you let it hang, that's when the worst thing you can do as a professional wrestler, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, is whether you're getting a good reaction or a bad reaction, you're still getting a reaction. The minute the people turn off from you and they give you no reaction at all, you've lost the crowd. Go home. Get the next match on, because as far as your match is concerned, it's dead in the water. You can try and get them back, and sometimes you can, but other times, no reaction is the worst reaction you can get.
True. But I throw this one back at you then. So say you're a heel, okay, and the babyface isn't getting the reaction, but the heel is. So, I don't know about you, but some heels like that and kind of pretend to be the face. Whereas for me, if the fans are kind of on my side instead of the babyface, I've got to do something to get that babyface back in the game if they're not doing it for themselves. Have you ever had that?
Yeah. We wrestled in kind of a rural area around in Johannesburg, and the crowd was just not into it. And we just, man, the funniest thing I ever saw.
Go for it.
We were at this. It's not really a rural place, but it's a bit out of the urban center, and there was a kid in a wheelchair sitting on the one side, and one of the heel wrestlers, said to the kid, "I want everybody to stand to attention and adore me." And of course, this kid's in a wheelchair, and he got out the ring. He just went up to the kid, didn't didn't antagonize the crowd or anything like that to this kid. He just goes, "Is this seat taken?" And man, I got I got such a reaction. The heels, man, all the heels needed to do was just show up, because it got such a great reaction that the crowd was on board with us from the start to the end. I had the best match I've ever had. It was fantastic. Little things like that. Now back to your original thing. In my experience and how I was taught, if you're a good heel, no matter how bad the baby face is, the baby face is still good, because the heel will make the face. And if the face is not getting the reaction that he's getting, it's not because of him so much, it's because of you as a heel. You need to step your game up. And man,
true, but you also, to cut you off, big man, but you also want that baby face to kind of shine and get them involved. If they don't do that from the start, it's really difficult for them to kind of then get that good feedback from the fans.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was lucky. I trained under some of the most tremendous heels in South African wrestling. So I was schooled relatively early, because I was a big guy. I wasn't going to do arm drag, hip toss, drop kick, fly over the top rope, things like that. That wasn't my game. That wasn't my game. So I learned very quickly where I fit into the hierarchy of professional wrestling. And some of the heels took me one side and said, "Hey, listen here, you're not going to be doing that stuff, but let's train you to be the best heel that you can be." And man, I learned under some of the greats. Oh man, technical issues. If I had hair, seriously, I'd pull it out.
It's cool.
Right. We're going to finish this up now. I swear on my auntie's eyelids, I'm going to finish this thing now. I'm telling you, I'm tired of these technical issues.
Let's go.
While we still got it now. Okay. Right.
It didn't work.
Oh, man, it's gone south in a hurry. All right. You mentioned the fact the guy that inspired you to be a professional wrestler is Owen Hart. Okay. We've discussed this now 3 times now. Right. Owen Hart. Why is he, in your opinion, the man?
He was a professional's professional. He revolutionized wrestling when it didn't need to be revolutionized. Things he did was the first time we'd seen things, such as a top rope drop kick, a kip up. We see a kip up every other match now. But when Owen Hart did it for the first time, I was like, holy shit, that's cool. Like, he just, the way he was the way he ribbed people. Constantly rewatch.
Yeah, that's
what. Yeah. So what match would you constantly rewatch?
No. Okay, this is going to be totally odd. Okay, it's coming out of left field. Mark Awesome versus Masato Tanaka at ECW One Night Stand. Okay. Simply because of the fact that match, it shouldn't happen in the realm of professional wrestling. Just simply because of the amount of insanity that happens in that match. Now, if you have to ask me what is the best technical match that I've ever watched, Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker, WrestleMania 26, that's the one. If you're looking at from a storytelling standpoint, Bret Hart versus British Bulldog at Wembley, SummerSlam. From a technical standpoint, excellent match. Are there matches that elicit a response out of you that brings you pure joy?
Yeah, I'll give you one. William Regal versus Cassius Ohno on NXT.
That's a good match.
Watch that. That's incredible. Just a quick one, a recent one: Walter versus Ilya Dragunov.
Oh my goodness, his chest looked like freaking meat. It was amazing. It was such a brutal match. I watched it, and every chop was like ooh, man.
When I've been on the receipt, honestly, man, I've been on the receiving end of a chop from Walter, and I'm a tough guy, but it made me wince.
Does he go out to physically harm you with that chop? Or is it just a thing of he swings it as hard as he can and it connects?
That's it. Walter would not go out at any point for any match to intentionally hurt anybody. He's a sweet guy, and he'll get you in the corner. He'll just say, "Take one." Do you know what I mean? It's part of his shtick. It's, I've had chops from Tatanka. They fucking kill. Like when we were planning the match backstage, he was legit chopping me as hard as he could to go through the match. And I was like, Chris, chill. We're backstage. But he was so riled up. He was buzzing. But at the end of the day, you, as wrestlers, we know what we're getting into. We know what we're doing. We know that there's a high risk. We might not be able to walk after a match. If you're in there with someone that does that kind of stuff, then just appreciate you're sharing the ring with them. Who cares? Yeah. It's a chop. So what? The following day you're going to be fine. So what if you've got a hand mark? Who cares? It's people that, I tell you what really gets me is when people post things on social media and they go, "Oh yeah, I got busted open tonight. They've got a cut here, like on the nose, a little cut." No. Bleeding like Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes tonight. Oh, well done. I broke my hand in the match and I continue for 20 minutes. Who gives a shit? That's what we do. Do you know what I mean? But if you know you're in there with a Walter, with whoever, just so what? Take it. Crack on. If you're not going to do it, get out of business.
Yeah, exactly.
Quite hard.
Exactly. Yeah. But in terms of that, no, you mentioned your match as the match that you'll watch over and over again is Owen Hart versus Bret Hart, WrestleMania 10. And you explain the storytelling and things like that. And you'll watch it over and over and over again because of the way the match makes you feel. Yeah. Now that is
it's a roller coaster.
Now that the Mark Awesome Masato Tanaka match, just for me, I know it happened in 2005. It's now 2021. Coronavirus, lockdowns, all that bullshit. But every time I watch Mark Awesome swing that chair and Masato Tanaka just takes it flush on the head, I wince every single time. And that match just cracks me up. It just makes me laugh all the time. And I've watched it. I must have watched it 100 times. I've watched the cage match between Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair, where Dusty won the title the first time. I've watched that match over 100 times. It's technically speaking, the storytelling is good, but man, nothing makes me feel better than when Masato Tanaka jumps off the top rope, sidewalk slam position with that chair, and Mark also just takes it underneath that pile. It makes me roar with laughter every single time I watch it. And I've watched it 100 times.
But the thing is, that's the great thing about wrestling, is that it's going to happen, but you still have that same reaction. And if not, you love it more. That's what wrestling is about. It's encapsulating the mind. It's about being subjective. Someone could listen to this interview and go, "Oh, I don't really rate either of those matches," and they could have an opinion on something else.
That's it.
But it's what's special to you, to us.
I want to ask you. I want to ask you a question. This is just a question that pops up. It's apart from my notes and everything like that. You, as somebody who's traveled all over Europe, wrestled multiple guys, Tatanka, Walter. We can. It's a veritable who's who. Are you still a mark for professional wrestling?
That's a really good question. I'm a mark for certain things. And when I mean certain things, I'm a big mark for returns. Things like the Rumble. If there's a big like Edge last year, that was a mark out moment.
Okay.
Yeah. It's when CM Punk came back on backstage, that was a mark out moment for me. It's people that I like I don't get like sometimes I don't get this in crowd and marks. If I'm watching it, like I pride myself on shows where I'll sit and watch the card. And if people want feedback, I'll give them feedback. If there's things that I go, holy shit, that was really cool. I don't jump out my seat and go nuts like some people do. I sit there with like a trainer's eye and a psychology side of things and say, okay, well, you did this, but you did that, but why? You know what I mean? Like if you can't tell me why, the crowd can't portray it as a story, they can't get it. And that happens a lot. Like I was on a show. It was only it was like not a trainee show. I don't know what to sort of call that. It was like a free show for fans to try and get them. It's to show new characters. Now I was the most, I was the vet in the changing room, and there was a load of guys that had like 4 or 5 matches, and I was fortunate to be the main event against a guy called Rossi Rascal, who'd been, who's a good guy, good wrestler, comes from a judo background, got a great physique, real like eager to learn. And we did the match, and he came back to me. He was like, right, and he sat down. He was like, and he got his notepad out. He goes, right, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? But then guys that hadn't had as many matches as he did just walked around. There was a couple of guys that did, instead of just coming back and going, oh, can I have some feedback? Or did you like it? What didn't you like? Like, I still ask, even after 600 odd matches, I still ask for feedback. But the key part is, and you probably will agree here, Loudmouth, is that you ask the most experienced guys in the room. You don't ask the rookies. You don't ask the young guys. And it's not being disrespectful, but you want the respect from your peers, but you want the respect from the guys that have been there longer.
Yeah.
So like, say for instance, if we were in a match, I'd go back and I'd speak to Mr. Wrestling, or speak to Amazai. I'd speak to those guys like, let me have your feedback. You know what I mean? I'd ask guys with credibility rather than a buzz. Because the guys with the buzz are normally here for 5 minutes and then they fuck off.
That's it. Right. Besides lockdown for 2020, the biggest disappointment for you. What was the biggest disappointment of 2020?
Okay, two things for me. One was fans not being able to see Drew McIntyre win the heavyweight title.
Yeah.
Because in the UK, that was a huge thing. Obviously, him being probably one of the first, if not the first UK champion, apart from obviously Sheamus. But we're on about like this new era kind of thing.
Yeah.
The other one was the Undertaker retirement. And that deserved so much that until they had the fans there. Because the biggest name in our history, You there, big man?
Yeah. Still, yeah.
It just glitched.
Yeah. So yeah, the Undertaker one.
And
carry on. Yeah, the Undertaker one was that one there out of everything, man. Because what happened in Saudi Arabia was, man, the in my opinion, the streak should never have been broken. I understand why they did it, but the streak should never have gone. I'm sorry, it should never have gone. Aye. Sorry, go ahead. You were saying?
I was saying it just kept glitching. I apologize.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, in my opinion, the streak should never have gone. I understand why they did it, but man, that streak should never have gone. They should have left it alone. It's one of those things. Just leave it alone. But I don't know if that's Vince, man, because he drives me freaking insane sometimes.
Ending. So, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I get you. All right. We're going to end this now because man, this video has taken. I feel like the old lady in Titanic there, with throwing the diamond off the bloody rails. Right. I'm gonna shoot some names out for you. Right.
Okay.
Just give me one word answers. Honest opinions, no messing around. Right.
Okay. Right. Straight up shoot.
Straight up shoot. One word answers. Okay. All right. Samoa Joe.
Underrated.
Will Ospreay.
Overrated.
Kenny Omega.
Overrated.
Hikaru Shida.
Class.
Toru Yano.
Yeah, world class.
Kota Ibushi.
Unbelievable.
Tessa Blanchard.
Shit.
Sami Callihan.
Shit.
Oh, come on, it's Callahan, man. Come on.
Okay, so right. Okay, Callahan in like the CZW times, and when he was on NXT was friggin' awesome. When he was on the Indies, he was great. When he's been in Impact, his main feud for that world title was with a woman. I rest my case, and it's not being sexist or horrible. Stop and just do your shit as you are. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Owen Hart.
Legend.
Tatanka.
Hero.
Walter.
Gentle giant.
Burchill.
Cock.
Oh, well. And there goes your chances for appearing in CPW. There we go. Okay. All right.
Thing is, someone's going to go through their names and they'll get to me and they'll go, yeah, he's right. It's not in a bad way, but it's like, you got to be honest. I think this is what really offends a lot of wrestlers these days. You might find that in South Africa. If you can't be honest with people, you've got to sugarcoat shit. I don't do that.
Yeah. All right. One more plug for Signature.
Okay, so Signature Moves on Facebook. The first live auction will be streamed on the actual Signature Moves Facebook page January the 29th at 7:30 UK time, which I believe is 8:30 South African time. Is that right?
100%.
Super. Yeah, we've got loads of promos that have been authenticated. We've got stuff. We're going to put some more stuff out towards the end of the week, but we've got stuff like the Dynamite Kid. We've got a signed 8x10 by the whole members of the Spirit Squad. We've got a signpost by Becky Lynch. We've got Rey Mysterio. We've got MJF. We've got Darby Allin. We've got a load more. Like I said earlier on, this guy, Kamala, he will be involved at some point if that's the case. And one of my favorite, my hero, if you can see, Haku.
Yeah.
So loads to come with signature moves. We're probably going to be doing around about 20 to 25 signatures, promo shots for the first auction. Just see how it goes. You know, we'll see what kind of response we get. We can ship all over the world, so don't worry about, you know, shipping. We'll sort that. You know, we can go. You can go to China. We can go to the States, wherever. It's all good.
Yeah, 100%. Before we sign off, I'm gonna ask you one thing. I need you to just say, welcome to Off the Top Rope, uncensored, uncut and raw, but please do it in your South African accent. We were so close to the end. So close to the end, and then it happened again.
I give up with technology, man.
I'm done with it. Take me back to the Stone Age.
Yeah.
It's fine. Last thing.
Yeah.
I need you to do me a favor.
Shoot.
All you need to do is say, welcome to Off the Top Rope. Wait, no. Welcome to Loudmouth Presents Off the Top Rope, uncensored, uncut, and raw. But you need to do it in your South African accent.
Oh, fuck. I'm not going to remember all that. My memories are really... I can't remember any of that. This is why my best South African accent. Okay, right then. So, we'll go bit by bit, because it's like a wedding.
Yeah.
It's like when I got married. Like, I had to tell the priest to go slow so I could remember the words. Anyway. Right. I did.
All right. Loudmouth Presents Off the Top Rope.
Loudmouth Presents Off the Top Rope.
Okay, now let's do it again when freaking technology is so bloody glitchy. God damn it.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Loudmouth Presents Off the Top Rope.
Loudmouth Presents Off the Top Rope.
Uncensored, uncut.
That sounded
and raw. Oh man, this has got pear-shaped. That's it. We're done.
Like
I'm finished. We're done. Forget about it. It's done. It's over. It's already done.
My South African accent's great. Uncut, uncensored. Loudmouth Presents Off the Top Rope. And now it glitches. Technology.
Oh, I hate it so much. Chris, listen here, my man. I can't help it. We're done. Forget about it. We're done.
Fuck off now.
All right, my man. Listen here. Thank you very much. Loudmouth Presents Off the Top Rope. Uncensored, uncut, and technologically challenged.